On September 15th, the world celebrated Afro Day, described as a global day of change, education, and a celebration of Afro hair, culture, and identity. Each year on World Afro Day, there are calls from activists to ban racial, ethnic, and texture-based hair discrimination. Days after the world celebrated the glory of Black people's afros and called for their right to exist as hairstyles deemed appropriate for a variety of settings, the St. Lucia Teachers Union expressed its support for one school's enforcement of a rule some have deemed discriminatory. After banning one third-form student from attending class because his compact afro violated St. Mary's College's rule that students must cover their hair if it is longer than 1 centimeter or high, a rule that is enforced at the principal's sole discretion, the school's board came out in defense of the policy when the child's father announced his intention to test the matter in the courts. An injunction was swiftly put in place to allow the boy back into class while the stakeholders await an inter partes hearing on the injunction scheduled for October 7th. However, on September 19th, the St. Lucia Teachers Union, whose president, Don Howell, is also the principal of the St. Mary's College, issued its own press release backing the short hair or cover rule, which critics say is unevenly enforced across racial and ethnic backgrounds. Bringing the matter to court, the union proclaimed through its statement would mean, quote, serious implications for the entire education system. The union said it was disturbed by the case.
Schools are institutions that instill values and discipline in students to help them to become law-abiding citizens. Given the nature of school, we all understand the importance of rules and regulations and the reasons why they should be followed. Further, the SLTU is concerned about the impact that this matter will have on school discipline. If a student is allowed to break one rule, then inevitably, the authority of all other rules will be compromised.
Meanwhile, local advocacy group Hair Us Out, which formally launched itself just prior to the issue at SMC, recently met with St. Lucia's Education Minister Sean Edward and staff of the ministry to discuss school hair policies on the island. Hair Us Out representative Ian Mitchell said the meeting had been a long time coming.
We had hoped and we felt that this should have been dealt with before the start of the school term. We should have had some actual decisions made to avoid some of the things that we saw occur at the start of the school term. We spoke about the background, historical background about how this all originated, this idea that our identity as Africans were taken away from us by slave masters by shaving heads. That's one of the ways of sort of like having people disconnected from their backgrounds and their roots, in addition to, taking away your language and other connections to your identity. But hair was one of the ways that was done. So, we went way back to have an understanding of the original or the origin of some of these types of ideas. The minister also gave his perspective along, when it comes to the matter of hair. He is in fair alignment with us as far as that is concerned. He already understands that there has to be a holistic approach to dealing with issue of school rules, and he has to also address all stakeholders' concerns. And again, we do understand that, but what we want is timely action.
No timetables for potential adjustments were provided, but the Education Ministry reportedly promised to evaluate the rule books of individual schools in order to handle the issue holistically. Responding to the argument that hairstyles in and of themselves influence antisocial behavior, Mitchell had this to say.
And the way it's being implemented, it creates scenarios where people who have those desires are treated like they're bad, like they're indisciplined. And it sort of creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Are we not producing disciplined children, or do we have a discipline problem? So obviously, the fact that we have the 99% of our children with short haircuts hasn't helped us to be disciplined. We are focusing on the wrong things.
As the matter continues to be debated in St. Lucia in a court of law and on the streets, the Hair Us Out representative emphasized the importance of encouraging individuality and teaching children to love their hair the way it grows out of their heads.